So, for my project, I did a duck floating on the ocean, but I did a rubber ducky, and I had to simulate the buoyancy and forces to get it to move along the ocean. So now we'll see some attempts at that. I started by having problems with the buoyancy, so he kind of slipped through. Then I worked on the forces. As you can see here, he doesn't have enough forward force, so he kind of laps towards the back of the tank that I made. He doesn't have enough force there either. He's coming along here a little bit better. Still not enough. Oh, definitely too much and then not enough. So here I realized that he needs a constant force and not just an initial force. So I just turned on constant force and it was too much. So, oh, this looks more promising. Here we go. But he's spinning and flying off to the side, and that's not great. So I figured out how to clamp his rotation, and he fell through the water at the end there. Here it looks like he's a little too deep in the water. Too high in the water, just took off. Too much force again. Way too much force. And this looks pretty good, not gonna lie. Some nice particles flowing off of the body. Oh, but he's turning really hard. Yeah, we don't want that. We want him to stay in a straight line. So I think I turned on the rotational stiffness and then it looked really nice. So I cashed it out and I got this simulation of the duck over the water. So next, I simulated the water off of the duck. So this is like a better, higher fidelity water simulation. Oh, here it's not tracking the duck, so I gotta do that. But it's like a higher fidelity water simulation that's based off of the duck so that it's running less simulations at the same time and you get a nicer result. Um, yeah, there's a nice spread there. And here I'm working with I put all the parameters, I wrote these out on the left side of each of my little flip books here so that you can see what I'm doing. This is the whitewater simulation that I did. This is a little separate. It's simulating on the surface of the water using the acceleration of the particles to emit and figure out where it should be emitting. So I'm playing with here on the left. You might be able to see foam, spray, bubbles, different aging amounts. And this is what I have so far for the final render. But I'd really like to expand on it to make it one, a full ocean, and two, a higher quality, if that makes sense. I'd like to add spray, which is a major thing, and then also higher quality foam, because I believe that what I have right now isn't quite the right foam. Here are my passes. I have all of these, and I'm aware that they're not necessarily the correct passes or enough passes, but I was not expecting to render it at this stage. So I will add more. So at this point, I've taken a few days off. I'm looking at it with fresh eyes, and I redid a few things. First off, I redid a little bit of the water sim. Wasn't quite working for me. I really wanted something that was just a little bit more high resolution for my overall sim. And what I'm going to do is actually take you inside of my file and show you some of the progress that I've made in the last few days. Alright, so we've reached an exciting point. I figured out how to turn this plane here that's extended from our main small mesh, which currently has a small issue, but I'll get to that later, into a simulated ocean with a lot of variance. I did that through this layer here, which is our ocean layer. There you go. So this is what it's rendering, all this information. which is just a lot of basically noise masks from these ocean layers that I've drawn out. And yeah, so it's taking all this information and plotting it back in for render time, but it's projecting it, it's creating a displacement map and placing it on this flat surface, so that I can render within the hour basically, because otherwise it was taking like an hour per frame, which is not what you want. It was really intense on the computer, even though I have everything cached out. So a little into our .NET here, I have added, since the last time you saw it, I added a little bit extra into our whitewater source. I did a cache here, and I have everything running to frame 163, which I have everything cached out. This is our whitewater. It currently has a bit of a banding issue, but you don't really see it too much, so it's all right. And then we have our mist source, which is actually a pyrosim that is emitting like smoke from the whitewater. So instead of using the main water body, I'm using the whitewater as the source, and then only if that whitewater is a certain distance from the surface of the water, it will emit the spray. And then to control that spray a little bit, I have this wind that kind of carries it up and over, and then after a certain amount of time it falls back into the water because, you know, gravity, and it like loses momentum. Yeah, this one here is for simulating the duck and its movement. This one is for simulating the water off of the duck. This one is for simulating the white water off of our water that we generated here. This mist is based off of both the wind and the whitewater source. And our original geometry here is our duck. And this is just a duck that I made, that I imported, transformed it to be the right size. This is the position that I had for the simulation where it's moving. This is just a single point that I've made that's like moving up and down and whatever. All the changes that were made to the duck earlier. This is just to reassemble this. So this is just a single point, and this is bringing the geometry onto that single point, and that's what's rendering. And this is just a collision source that is running into our other networks. Yeah, so what's really exciting that I just got to is we have a rendered still. So would you like to see that? If we come over to render view, this is our first rendered still that I'm actually really happy with. We've got a really nice looking ocean here, and our duck is just not well shaded, but we'll fix that. And the only issue here is this hole, and you can see it here. I'm currently trying to fix this. I think I just need to figure out how to get this to bound better to this box so that I get this nice merging, because I have to convert the whole plane into a volume and then back again, and it's really something. But yeah, it's going well. I think that I'll be able to get this done within the next few weeks and get a nice little animation of our duck powering through the ocean, which is the goal. And yeah. So that's what I have so far for the project. Let me know if there's anything that I should change about the direction or emphasis of the project, and thank you for watching.